there's, I have it locked up, I think too high. It's a little bit too high, because now that people have gone in there and seen what there is, they've been coming in a lot lower than I thought they would. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how to position it with him, because I'm gonna have to call and ask him for a price reduction, because on top of it, what I'm thinking, trying to use this as some ammo, is that there's some liens that there's 3 people on the deed and 2 of them have liens. And the title company said that they were trying to reach those 2 people to get some sort of signatures and relating to those liens, and haven't been able to. So they asked if I can push back the closing. Well, they didn't ask. They said we have to push back the closing date. So I have to call him, and I'm wondering how you would role play that. How you would, and I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna record you. I would like to.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'll upload this recording too.
Oh yeah. Okay, great.
On the portal, and I'll send a notice
Okay.
out. But yeah, so very common in this market. Don't feel bad about it. Renegotiations left and right. It is what it is. We're literally standing in moving sand. We don't know. You don't know. I don't know. Sellers don't know. Buyers don't know. Banks don't know. Everybody's kind of fumbling their way towards closings right now. Okay, so first of all, I say don't feel bad if there's any emotion there, because I want you to have sense of security. Like, it is what it is. A lot of this actually is just outside of your control, and that doesn't make you a bad person. It is what it is. So with that said, first of all, I want to address the whole, and I'll just go through it through my mindset, like going through it and how we're handling it, because I am managing this type of conversation pretty often. These lien situation. So is it like a memorandum of contract lien to another wholesaler? Is it like a mortgage? What sort of liens? And do we see a path to actually getting them clear?
There is a path to getting them clear. I guess that's the final question you asked, is because it's coming out of each of their specific percentages. Just the delivery man. Look, he's leaving. See? Okay, he just brought. She's like terrified. It's okay. See?
I've got a 5-year-old. I know what that's like.
I know. It's COVID. It's like COVID. They're not used to people like coming by the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like they're going to be paid. They're going to be taken from their dividend, the amount.
So these are like heirs, people that are on title. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the first thing, whenever we're going to renegotiate, I want to go ahead and make sure that there is a known path to clear title. Okay, because why do I highlight that? You'll find out here soon as we start the conversation. And I think I even uploaded a lesson. I'll maybe tag it on this coaching recording. But essentially, when we go to renegotiate, we want to have a clear path to closing. It's an additional motivator for the seller to work with us, right? So we can start off the conversation. Hey, Miss Seller, appreciate you working with us so far. Have some good news and some bad news. Good news is that we're able to actually get ready for closing with the title matters. The bad news is that, as you know, our contractors went out, and with the added rehab scope, our costs are a little bit too high all in for us to make it work. Now, I appreciate you working with us thus far with the purchase price, as we know, 100,000 or whatever it may be. But we're just wondering if there is some room for improvement on the price so that we can actually get this closed. Because what I'm trying to communicate when I go and renegotiate with a seller is, 1, we have a clear path to title, and 2, I'm giving you security because we've walked it through. We've walked it through. And a little bit of a tip, more of a technical tip, in PropStream or REI Automator, which is the version that I use and recommend, there is a rehab calculator. So I'm trying to look for one that we've done. I don't know if we did this one, but I'll show you real quick. So it has Blue Hammer. Why am I bringing this up? So what's going to happen? The seller's going to say, they're either going to work with you or they're going to get pissed. Like it's one of those two. So before you make this call, you want to have a clear path to title. This is probably the notes that you need. You want to have a clear path to title. You want to make sure that they know that you have had a contractor go out to the property and get all the details out of the condition of the home. Because just as we were talking earlier, everybody says it's cosmetic. Everybody says it's cosmetic. So because you've actually had somebody go out there and you're just no longer basing it on the phone conversation, you've had actually somebody go out there, they know that you've walked through it, right? And they have a higher level of certainty that, okay, this person has actually cut through my BS as a seller. Okay. And then we do this quite often, not on purpose, but sellers lie, as you know, sellers lie. And when we get our buyers or our contractors walk through, we get the feedback. Hey, by the way, this house has foundation issues or has mold issues or has da 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 da. Not every time we're able to get a detailed rehab contractor estimate, but you can do this on your own using this Blue Hammer tool. So you put in here the details of the property, like let's say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, whatever, 1,500 square feet, and it was built in 1940 or whatever. And you can go through this thing, and I'm just clicking around through here. But you can develop your own very detailed rehab estimate, and Blue Hammer is connected to like local pricing. Now, is it perfect? Would I bet my life on it? No, but it's easy to know. It needs painting, it needs windows, it needs new doors, lighting. No, it doesn't need a roof, it needs flooring, like all these things, right? Like you can just check off on stuff and it's gonna process that. And it's going to give you a total rehab estimate for the characteristics of that property.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And yeah. And it's going to give you the do it yourself and the total estimate. So if I tell you, and I have this conversation with you, and you're a skeptical seller and you feel that you've been taken advantage of, and honestly, this works 50-50. Like it's literally a toss. So the only thing that I've seen through practice is, one, make sure that you have a clear path to title. 2, that you've had visits to the property, and 3, having a detailed breakdown for the logical minded people, the right side brain people to look at and be like, listen, like, unfortunately, we thought, as we had discussed in our initial call on the phone, you mentioned it was only cosmetic. We were hoping for only maybe $10,000 to $12,000 worth of repairs, as you had mentioned. But it really sounds and seems to be, based on the detailed rehab estimate, that to get this property in showroom condition, it's going to cost us about $38,351 with 63 cents. And with the, that's a big gap. What do you feel we would be able to agree on so I can take it back to the funding department and see if we can get this closed still? Now, what did I do just there? I'm going to get the seller to sign the amendment first. I'm not going to be sending an amendment for you to think about it, ponder, shop it around. I'm going to say, listen, this is what do you think we can come to terms to? Now, the other thing is, Jen, I'm gonna say this, and this is key. Okay. And this is something that I learned years ago through sales training. I'm gonna say, now I don't need this we don't need this property at a really low bowl number. We don't really need this at 20,000 or 50,000. But what do you think we can come to terms to that would make sense for both of us? My goal for the call is to not kill the deal. My goal for the call is to essentially let them know, hey, we have certainty for closing. This is kind of what we need to work on so that we can actually get you closed. And I hope that you're not gonna get, pissed. I hope that you're not gonna get pissed and we can actually come to terms. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that spin. That's great.
Yeah. So we actually send it. So we actually ask them first, like, what would work? What's the lowest? And typically that is the lowest that they will go. They may say, well, let me think about it. If they want to cancel the deal, if they absolutely want to cancel the deal, what we do is say, okay, I completely understand. Let me call in a few favors and see if we can work the contractors down a bit. If we can do that, what would be the least you'd be able to take so that I can present it to the funding department? And my goal is for the seller to sign the amendment for me to take it to the funding department. That's my goal. I've seen it work 50-50. It's kind of a toss. But just to recap, one, you want to have a clear path to title closing. Two, you want them to know that you've been to the property, right? Your rep or your field asset manager has gone to the property. And three, you want to have this breakdown of rehab ready to send, because what we do is we send on the DocuSign for the amendment, we send the rehab and the repair estimate along with the amendment when they're ready to sign. Okay. But again, my goal is to either get alignment or not kill the deal, right? Sometimes just people are frustrated and, they'll come around and, to not kill the deal, I say, okay, well, let me see if I can work my contractor's numbers down a little bit. I can't promise you anything. We'll be in touch. And so that's how we approach that conversation, because, do they not think that they're going to go through the same thing with someone else?
Yeah, true.
They might say, oh, I had another offer from so-and-so, and I think I'm just going to go with them. And so then you start sprinkling some of that. Well, listen, we're pretty far into this already. We've done the title work. We've done our walkthroughs. I want to make sure that you make the best decision for yourself before we allocate these funds to another file. Would you ask that other investor if they're able to waive any contingencies and put $10,000 of earnest money deposit so both you and I can have peace of mind before we cancel?
That's good. To waive contingencies and put 10,000 down.
Yeah, like a huge number, like something that sounds like these people are ready to go. Because there's two components to any offer. It's not only price, but it's the terms.
Yes,
So
that's a great point.
before we go ahead and cancel and we release these funds to another file, I want to make sure that we're giving ourselves the best shot at actually getting this done. We're pretty far into this process. That's pretty much how we renegotiate these deals.
I love it. Okay. Great. That's super helpful. I feel more confident now going into this conversation.
Good. Yeah. I mean, it is, if you have those three, then you, and again, the call's not to cancel the contract. The call is to get alignment, right? And not kill the deal, because eventually they do come around. Like we're closing on a deal that's supposed to fund tomorrow where I think initially we had it for 98. And then when we got our buyers and their contractors in there, one of them said like, this is a tear down. The only buyer that we had was like $20,000 or $30,000 lower. And so this is the exact same process that we used to get it renegotiated. And we were able to negotiate it down and getting them closed. And at the end of the day, that's what they want. I mean, every seller wants $1 million. Every buyer wants to buy the property for nothing. But at some point, we got to figure out a meeting of the minds.
Yes, exactly. Okay, great. I have one more question before we disconnect here, because I know we're a few minutes over. We've gotten pretty far into this already. We've done title work, we've done walkthroughs, and I thought you said one more thing, like a third thing.
We've done title work, we've done our walkthroughs, and before we release the funds to another file, I want to make sure that we give ourselves the best shot to get this actually closed.
Got it. Okay, that was a big part of that. Great. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate
Anytime.
your time. Super helpful.
Absolutely. Was that useful? Yeah. Yeah. Was that good?
Yes,
Okay.
very useful. Thank you.
Good. Good.
It's
Always good
kind
to
of like
catch
the
up.
frog. It's the frog I haven't eaten, so I got to eat it now.
Good luck. Keep us posted.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.